Hey guys, welcome back to another video all about living in Merida, Mexico. In this video, I'm going to attempt to answer the question, do you need a car when living here in Merida? I'm also going to take you through two neighborhoods that are outside of the periferical, so you can kind of see for yourself and judge for yourself whether a car is necessary or not. It's going to be a long video. It's going to be a different video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some scenes from inside of the city area of Merida. And then we'll go outside of the peripheral into some neighborhoods that are very nice, but they're just on the outskirts. So this is the Independence Monument that you're seeing here that starts right at the top of Paseo de Montejo, which is a very iconic street here in Merida, Mexico. It's kind of like, every city has their hip strip, their hot street, where all central activities kind of buzz around. All entertainment happens on Paseo. You'll always find cultural activities popping off. There are a lot of restaurants and hotels on Paseo. So this is really kind of like the backbone of Merida, and it's just a little bit north of the Centro area. You can actually walk down to Centro if you'd like. And so that's why in my last video I did say something about, living in Centro as opposed to living in the north, which is more suburbia. So you can check out my last video if you actually want a comparison of whether you should live in Centro or not. In this one, I'm going to really talk about living in the north or outside of the peripheral. So in the north, you have all the neighborhoods, and we're going to drive through quite a few of them on this drive. So I'm actually taking you from the center of Merida to the outskirts. So, that's why this video is so long. But you'll get a chance to see the various different neighborhoods that are inside the peripheral. So I keep saying that. What is the peripheral? It's just a highway, and we'll hit it for a bit in this video so you'll get to actually see it. It's a highway that surrounds the city of Merida. And you want to remember that Merida is the center, is what? The capital city is the word I'm looking for the state of Yucatan. So that's the, like we would say in Jamaica, that's the parish capital. But if you're from the States, then you know exactly what I mean when I say that's the capital city. And so all business activity happens here. This is where you'll find the best nightlife. And then as you go further out, the neighborhoods stretch out a little bit more. They become a little bit more suburban, and the houses get a little bit bigger. Or sometimes the houses get a little bit more. You kind of get a feel for each neighborhood just depending on where in the center it is and how close to the peripheral it is, how far out you're going. So each neighborhood that I find that we've stayed so far within the peripheral, I think, pick one. It doesn't really matter, because as you can see here, if you pay close attention to the sides of the road, like this, there's an OXXO coming up in this video here. OXXOs are all over the place. You're never too far from conveniences, no matter which neighborhood you decide to stay in. And that's one of the things that I love about actually living within the peripheral, is that if you pick a neighborhood, it's probably walkable. You can find Super Aki's, you can find Office Depot, you can find anything you need right like a 5 or 10 minute walk away. Nothing is ever really very far. So once you're staying within the peripheral, do you need a car? Probably not. But here's where things get kind of tricky, and it really just depends on the lifestyle that you are used to living and the lifestyle that you want to live when you get here. If you're used to having a car, then I can see how quickly, walkability is nice. It's very nice that I can just walk up to the store when I want something quick. But it gets real old after a while. Like if I want to go to Home Depot for something, and then I want to go, or I have a doctor's appointment, and then I want to go to Home Depot, and then I want to go to the supermarket, then I want to go out for lunch, having to take an Uber and wait the 10-15 minute wait sometimes for somebody to come and get you, that becomes annoying. Or if you stopped and you bought something, and so now you have bags, but you still have more stops you want to make, then obviously that becomes real annoying as well. So, things like that, just those little nuances that you probably don't think about a lot. But to be honest, outside of those one-off situations, then if you're staying, again, another OXXO coming up, and we haven't driven very far yet, right? They are all over the place. And those OXXOs, they are so convenient. You can do any and everything in an OXXO. You can pay your light bill, your water bill. You can pay, listen, you can send money to others. You can do every and anything in those OXXO. They're just convenience stores that they sell things, yes, but you can also do other things there. Yeah, so any neighborhood that you stay in within the peripheral is probably walkable, and you'll be just fine without a car. But once you start to go further out, that's when things become more difficult to get a car to come pick you up, whether it's Uber or Didi or InDriver. And things obviously become more expensive because you're further out away from the city. So this neighborhood is actually really close to my neighborhood right here. So I'm very familiar with these streets coming up, and this neighborhood, as well as anything Montez or Montebello, anything that has those names are really, I love them because they are central. The houses are nice, the homes are nice, and you can find lots of restaurants, convenience stores, anything you want is close by. So even if you decide to take Uber or Didi, the cost to get there is really not a lot. So I do love my neighborhood. There are like 3 gyms within walking distance. There are tons of restaurants. There are pharmacies all over the place. There is nothing that I want that I couldn't walk to. And so, yeah, I do love my neighborhood, and most of the neighborhoods that we have stayed in so far are just like that. Now, what you won't see a lot of in this video especially is high-rise apartments. Coming from Colombia and even in Panama, we saw nothing but high-rises all over the city, and so that was a big difference for us. Like, look at this house over here on the right. Some of these houses in Merida span an entire city block, let me tell y'all. Merida, I found it so interesting because you have these large, grand homes right next to business places, right next to very small houses with families that have lived there for centuries, you can tell. It's just like a cornucopia of housing options. But yes, high rises are here. So if you want to live in an apartment, there are a few that dot the city. But I really did love that it wasn't just brick city. Like you can see here that there's loads of trees, and you will especially appreciate that in the summer months. If you decide not to get a car and you have to walk up to Oxo, you are going to love the fact that there are still all these trees about, and there are not a lot of high-rise buildings. But just take a look at some of the housing options that you will see, and you're going to see some that have Se Vende or Se Renta signs. So that's just like I said in one of my previous videos, how you will find properties here for sale or for rent. That's one of the easiest ways to do it, is just find a neighborhood that you like and walk around and look for those signs. Here's a bus that I am behind, but you can take the bus. That's an option as well if you want to use that to get around. My mom has done it before. I've never hopped on a bus. I have no desire to, because very few of them have air conditioning. And I'm just like, how you have a city as hot as Mexico, as Merida, and there is no AC on damn bus? No, thank you. But that is an option if you just want to get up to somewhere really quickly and for a very affordable cost. Then you can hop on a bus too. Here's a service car pulling up. Let me tell you something. When they say Merida is safe, they mean it. You can never drive too far without seeing cop cars all over the place. And it just really adds to the feeling that the city is being surveilled. Is that a word? There are cops all over the city, especially at night when I'm getting home from wherever. They are all over the streets. And I actually love that, because once upon a time, I would see the cops out and I would feel like, something happened, I walk on ya so. But that's not the case here. You just get used to seeing them all over, and you start to actually appreciate that they're out and about. I love that I'm doing this video in the winter holidays here. Of course, we don't know anything about winter down in Merida, but the weather has been slightly cooler. I'm very appreciative for that. I really love that. But look at all the roundabouts. There are plenty of roundabouts here in Merida. So if you don't know how to navigate roundabouts, you're going to learn real quick if you decide to rent a car. But you see that all of them have been lit up and decorated for Christmas. I think it's so cute, and it just really adds to the festive atmosphere here in the city. When nighttime comes, oh my God, the city is so pretty right now. This area here is called Colonia Maya, and it's very local. You will see not a lot of big homes with pools in the background or anything like that. What you'll get here is some really delicious food from locals selling from their homes, especially. You'll find a lot of local tiendas. You'll find fabulous, warm, inviting neighbors who are very friendly and will look out for you. And you will find the most affordable rent. So when you go into the neighborhoods and you see them looking very local, do not be afraid, because it doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with safety or anything like that. It's just where most locals live. And that's the beauty of Merida. I really find that you have right beside each other neighborhoods that are, like, you can tell off the bat, they are more affluential, and then neighborhoods where the working man lives. Me and you, we live right here, so. And I love these kind of neighborhoods because them have the nice food. Like, I've stayed in Airbnbs that were in some of these neighborhoods, and them have the nice food for the little bit of money when we can get delivered. Servicio a domicilio. Oh my gosh, I butchered that. But I love when I get to stay in somewhere very local, because it's always a party. It's always warm and inviting and fun, and the food always tastes woolly good, just woolly good. Now, what is it like to drive here in Merida? You know what? I see a lot of people say that they're so afraid to drive here. And I'm like, where are you coming from? Maybe it's because I have experience driving in Kingston, Jamaica, where the taximan them will make you yell out of your window 511 times for the day. But it's a breeze. Ain't no thing driving here. Like, it's the only thing I really have to remember, and it's finally, I think, becoming a habit. In Jamaica, we drive on the left, so that was an issue for me for a while, forgetting to make sure I'm on the right side of the road, and then, somebody's blaring their horn at me. Or sometimes I don't know which way to look. So I'm trying to turn onto a street and I'm looking right first when I should be looking left first. And it's always, pure drama. But I finally have that now that I've been driving for almost a month here. And so that's finally no longer an issue. So here we're crossing over into, I think this is Alta Brisa, which is another very popular neighborhood here, because it is home to one of the popular hospitals that the older expat community loves to go to. I don't know if it's because, their services are that extensive or affordable or what it is, but Alta Brisa is a neighborhood that the expats love. Also, younger expats like it because I think there's a school nearby where, a lot of international kids go to as well. So this is a neighborhood that you can look into. It has some very nice privadas, very nice homes in this neighborhood. You can see the streets are nice and wide here, and they opened up, and there's lots of economical activity happening. So yeah, Alta Brisa is nice too. It's kind of like in one of the little corners on the outskirts of the city, because the Periférico is right next to it. That's where we're lining up to go to next, so that I can take you into one of the neighborhoods outside of the Periférico. So it's going to cost you a little penny to get into Centro if you want to go into Centro often, is what I'm trying to say, if you're using Uber or Didi. But Alta Brisa is very nice. So it's one of those neighborhoods that people always try to get into. All right, so right here we are getting close to crossing the Periférico. We're not going on it yet. You're going to see that later on, so make sure you stay tuned if you want to see more. But we're going to cross under the Periférico. We are going into the neighborhood of Cholul. Now, Cholul is just outside of the Periférico. It really is a quick, less than 10-minute drive to live out there. But because it's outside of the Periférico, it's not considered inside Merida's, city itself. And there are quite a few of those kind of neighborhoods that are just on the outskirts but close enough, so a lot of expats like to live there. But I have stayed in an Airbnb that's outside of the Periférico, so I'm qualified to answer some questions for you. Now, the homes out in Cholul, they are very nice. You're going to see it. But because these are neighborhoods or like little villages, little towns outside of the Periférico, a lot of them still retain a lot of their very local charm. Some of them are newly built, and you'll see one. I'm going to take you to one after Cholul. But some of them, like Cholul, you can see that they existed outside of Merida way before all of us came here to live. And when I say us, I don't even really mean expats, and I'm not talking about gentrification. What you'll find a lot of here in Merida, I mean, the cat is out the bag. People of Mexico know that Merida is safe and affordable to live. So it's not even really we cause of gentrification. It's other people who have money coming to Merida to actually live. And when they come, they bring their money and they build up the places. And so the infrastructure is getting better. But that comes at a cost. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about gentrification. But I really find that the expat community here isn't really as large as you think it is yet. Maybe it's growing, sure, but you know, there are a lot of Mexican tourists here as well. Or not tourists because they live here. So, you know, people coming from other parts. A lot of older Mexicans come here to retire themselves because they're coming from the rat race of Mexico City or wherever they're coming from. One of my Airbnb owners that was exactly her case. You know, she said that she used to live in Mexico City. She's retired now here in Merida, and she lives in one of the neighborhoods that I'm going to take you through a little later in the video. So she had an Airbnb that she was renting closer into the city. I think that one was actually in Montes de Ame, and I really liked it. And she said her kids still live in Mexico City, but she's retired now, so she's out of the hustle and bustle of that life, and she chose Merida to come and live. So Cholul is one of those older neighborhoods, and we'll get there in a minute. And I don't even know if this video does it justice based on the route that I took, but you will find some grand homes in Cholul. Like when you pass them, you will see the walls. You can't even really actually see the house, but some of them are compounds. Let me tell you something. Like they have multiple structures in there. They have pools. There is a lady that lives out here with her family. I go to a sound meditation at her home. I don't know if she built it or it came like that, but the house has a nice little outdoor structure. So it's just really two walls, and she netted it in. So it's kind of inside, outside, and it has a roof. It has fans in there, but it only has two walls, and so she netted the other two so we wouldn't be dying from mosquito bites. And, you know, it's very nice. She does her sound meditation, sound baths in there, and I love it. But when I go there, I can see that on the property, there are multiple structures. So I think she has a pool in the back, and she has a pool house, and then there's an outdoor area where we can go to the bathroom and all of that. So all of that's going in there. So we're in Cholul here now. We crossed under the peripheral. I don't know if you missed that. And so we passed a school as well. Everything that you will find. So one of the things that I will say is that everything that you want is in these neighborhoods. So whichever one you choose, whether Cholul, there's one called Concal that's a little bit further out. There's Causel, there's Grand Santa Fe, which I think is in Causel or Coquel. I don't know how you pronounce that. There's Las Americas. There's Tixcocob where I was. There's a bunch of these little neighborhoods on the fringe. And they have everything that you want. So if you do choose to come and live in one of these outskirt neighborhoods, then you don't really need to go into Merida much. They have all the conveniences. They have the OXXOs. They have the 6 stores, which 6 is like probably 7-Eleven. They have the pharmacies. They have tons of restaurants. And here's a 6 we're coming up. And here's a Messina's. I actually love Messina's food. Messina's is an Italian chain that I found out here that has really nice food. They have all the conveniences, so you really don't need to leave your little village if you do choose. And I chose to veer off on one of these side roads so you can really see before we get into the grand houses and privadas that, you know, it is a small little Mexican village, and those have sometimes the best feel. Like you get to know your neighbors. That's real immersion right there. You actually have to use the Spanish that you're learning every day. Best way to learn the language is to, you know, get outside and talk with your neighbors, eat the food that they're selling. A lot of them sell food out of their garage or out of their homes, and, you know, you find the best tacos, the best everything. So this is one of the side streets here in Cholul that I'm going through. But if I had continued on that main street, you would have seen even more restaurants, all the pharmacies, the OXXOs, the gas station. There's everything in that main street. And somewhere here too, you will see one of the ways that you can get around if you do decide to come and live in I don't know if all of the outskirt neighborhoods have them. Like I didn't see it in Las Americas, or I don't think I saw it in Cholul either. But a lot of these smaller neighborhoods, especially the ones who are older, like this one, like you can see that there's a lot. This neighborhood is quite an older neighborhood. Like Las Americas, I think is fairly new. So might be Cauquel and Grand Santa Fe from what I visited. But the older ones, they have what you call bike taxis, and the bike taxis are really, you know, some of them are bicycles actually, and some of them are really motorbikes with a little seat attached that you can take to go to the main square. So for instance, you found a little house way out here on the outskirts of that main road for rent. And the rent here is going to be super affordable, even if you're renting in one of these local homes or you're renting one of the bigger ones that we're seeing, or that you will see later on in the video. You can catch a bike taxi, so you can actually, like, you know, save their numbers and give them a call when you want to get a ride. There goes one right now. That one, I think that one is a bicycle one, so you can actually call them, catch a bike taxi, and go onto that main street if you want. Or, you know, so it's very convenient to stay out here as well. There's very little reason to go into Merida except for when you want to go to a restaurant to meet up with your friends, or there's an event or something happening that you want to go to. So if you do come out into the outskirts, then you have nothing to worry about. It's not like out there is barren and you won't find shops and anything. Out there has all the convenience. It might not have the internet. It took us a while to actually get proper internet where we were staying. So I will say that. So you want to check that first. But, you know, if you choose to come out here to stay or to rent, there's nothing to worry about. As you can see, the further out we get, we're still passing lots of tiendas and little shops and places to buy all kind of things. They sell all kind of things. So you will never go hungry, and you will never not be without your conveniences. Or I should say, you'll always have your conveniences. You saw another little bike taxi going past there. There was the water store to the left just now where you can fill up your 5-gallon water bottles, and that will only cost you like 12 pesos. So you can ask the bike taxi to take you to go fill up your water bottle and then take the bike taxi back home. So, you know, life is just at a different pace. Merida life is at a different pace altogether, but life outside of the peripheral, I found, is at an even slower pace. Like if you're coming here to like de-stress and decompose, then yes, you want to stay outside of Merida, trust me. Now, take a look at the walls that we're passing right now, because I can't say the homes, I can't say the estates. I'm just saying now we're getting into the actual grand homes. Like out here so are some big house. Have some they're compounds, they're estates. I can't even say that is a house over there. But you can see that the walls go on and on and on. Look at this one on the left. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Did you see that? And now there's this one on the right. Like they go on, and they are large and they are grand. And that's why people love out here, because you have tons of space to kind of just spread out and build and do whatever you want to do with your property, especially if you buy out here. That's a vende sign right there. Who knows what's over on that property? And you'll see too that there's still so much open land. There's land for sale, and there's land that's just there that has all the critters. That's one of the things that people say that they're not moving out to where is this, Cholul and Concal, is because when you see them open land there, you see all the animals. They have some iguanas out here, some snakes, some lions, tigers, and bears. Trust me, you know, we're in the middle of the jungle, and it is not without all the jungle friends. So that's something to be aware of too. If you're going to live all the way out in the country, you have a few other animals and reptiles that you may want to consider. They're gonna be your neighbors too. Now look at this road here now. This is a nice wall to our right too. So I'm pretty sure it's quite a compound over there. But what is this? This road, I cannot imagine what it is like when it rains. So that's another consideration. Something else you want to bear in mind. Think about, like, there's a whole rainy season here in Merida where it rains for days non-stop. Every day rain falls at a certain time, and so these narrow little streets with these dirt roads, if you go and you look at a property and this is where the gate is, You are going to want to bear that in mind. You're also going to want to have a look at, the drainage situation inside the property. Make sure that your property is not like prone to flooding and things like that. That's something that would be a red flag for me. Look at this little path that we're going down here in this little section right here. So, like, I don't know how this house on the right, how they manage when it's rainy season, but they manage some way. So there are ways. I'm just saying that make sure that you consider that in your plans. All right, down this street here now, you're going to find some of the privadas, which are like private gated neighborhoods that some of them look real exclusive. I don't know what they got going on in some of these, but this is the pull of Cholul, I find, for a lot of the expats. So inside the Pravada, when you get in there, some of them only have like townhomes, and then some of them have standalone actual houses, but they're like just in a neighborhood, in a gated community. And then some of them have, I've been in one before that has, each house has like a private dip pool, so like a small little pool that you can, just like a dip pool. And then still it has a community pool, so like a larger pool that is shared, and you'd pay your maintenance, and that goes towards maintaining the community pool and the community grounds. And then you can see parking for some of them. They have like guest parking outside, and so your guests can't even park outside. Like here's the guest parking right here, so, and then they walk in, there's the delivery guys outside, and then that's the gate. And then you look in. Let me see if I can adjust this camera angle at some point for y'all so you can have a little peek into the Privadas and what they got going on here. I think this one has standalone homes in there, and so they have security. You have to drive in and get clearance to actually go inside, but your guests can't even drive in. So there are a whole lot of those all over, not just in Cholul, but Cholul has that pull. And the thing is that is because it's outside of the peripheral, these are not very expensive still. You can find 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom homes for less than $1,000 to rent out in this area still. And look at these being built over on the left. So I don't know if they have contact information on the wall. That's normally where you'd find it. And then of course some realtors, listen guys, y'all have to calm down on asking me for the realtor plug. I did not use a realtor. I don't have a realtor plug. I found my home on Facebook Marketplace. That is where you want to go and find information about homes that are for rent. Now, if you want to build or things like that, I would suggest that you come down here and make those connects for yourself. But a lot of these places have wide open spaces. There's a lot of construction going on and a lot of land for sale. So you really just gotta come and be down here, be on the ground, so you can get things going if that's what you want to do. I'm about to drive past this open lot. All of this land on the right here has some whole heap of sign that says land for sale. So this is going to be not necessarily in Cholul area. I think we're getting closer to like Temazon Norte, which is another very upscale, up and coming, posh part of Merida. Well, just outside the Periferico again. But Temazon Norte is really close to the Periferico. So, you know, it's quick and easy to get inside, but it's cheaper. It's not going to be as expensive. Although Temazon Norte is kind of upscale from what I've seen so far, so the prices might hold out there. But you know, this video is supposed to also be about do you need a car or not. I'm going to let you know that if I were living in Cholul or anywhere outside of the Periferico, it could only work if I had a car, because my daughter, she has meetups all the time in Merida. There are restaurants and things that I want to see that are inside of Merida. You know, my favorite places are so far inside of Merida and even closer to Centro. You want to have a car so you can zip in and out. And, you know, when I was talking about if you have several stops to make, you know, so look at this one right here. You know, all the signs of big construction going up right there so as well. So you just have to be on the ground if you want to build or things like that. But I think for me, it has been so much more convenient to actually have a car. And if you're going to live outside of the Periferico, I think it's an absolute must. Like, I don't see myself living comfortably in Cholul without a car. You can get Ubers, you can get deliveries out there, but it's gonna cost you so much more than if you were inside. And it's going to take so much longer for you to get an Uber. When we were at an Airbnb on the outskirts, Ubers, first of all, it took forever for an Uber to say, okay, fine, I'll come. And then when they agree, the cost is so much more than what it is when you're inside the Periferico and things are just busier and easier. And so that's a consideration if you're already out at night and it's getting late and you know you have to take an Uber back home. That's going to cost you a pretty penny. I had to do that 1 or 2 times. And while you will eventually get someone to take that ride for you, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. All right, stick around here now. We are actually going to jump on the Periferico for a bit, because I'm going to take you to Las Americas. Las Americas is one of those neighborhoods where, to me, it seems as if it was built in response to the growing boom of people coming here to live and settle here, retire here, whether you're coming from other states in Mexico or you're coming from outside of Mexico. That's one of the popular areas I realize that expats like to live. And me, I don't see the pull. This is my second time actually visiting Las Americas, and I don't see the pull. It's kind of generic. All the homes look the same. There's none of that Mexican charm that I would have come to Mexico for. Of course, you can live there and then come into Merida for the Mexican charm, but you know, I kind of want to live in the charm, in the neighborhoods. And sure, a lot of Mexicans live there, but Las Americas is not for me. But I feel like you would have to come and make that decision for yourself, right? The rent out there is going to be much more affordable than if you were staying inside of Merida. And if you have a car, it does not take long for you to get into Merida. It took us what, I think less than 10 minutes to get from the Periferico here to Las Americas. But then you have to also consider the time from the Periferico to wherever you want to go. So if you're going to a restaurant in Centro, for instance, you're going to want to put on another maybe 15, 20 minutes on that. So you're going to budget half an hour to get from Las Americas to anywhere in Merida Central. If you're going to somewhere in the north, then that is a little less of a time. And so you can get an Uber or a DD to come out to Las Americas, but it's going to cost you a little more, as I said. And you're going to want to budget for that time, the travel time, and you're going to hope that the Uber not canceling on you every minute because they don't want to come out there. It's just so much easier to get a job inside of the Periferico, so a lot of them don't even want to come out there unless it's going to pay them a pretty penny. Once you see this little monument coming up, you know you have hit Las Americas. There's Las Americas 1 and Las Americas 2, so different fraccionamentos. I hope I didn't butcher that word. But different sections of the neighborhood, and Las Americas 2 is the newest one, I think. So that's where I'm going to take you in this video so you can see the homes. The homes are nice. They're bigger than the first version for sure, the first section or the first fraction, whatever you want to call it. And what I don't think though is that they have all the niceties. Me not see none with no pool and nothing like that. But they're bigger at least, so you get more house for your money. And they all have a gorgeous balcony upstairs. On this street here leading into it, this is kind of one of the main arteries of the Americas. You can see that it's completely almost turned into commercial activity, and these started out as random homes. So I'm thinking it's not very hard to actually turn your garage or something into a business here in Mexico, because all of these are homes. They're not business places, but they've turned themselves into business places. Of course, we have an OXXO. You would not, be in any neighborhood without an OXXO or 3. And you can find anything you want here. So again, if you chose to live out here, then you wouldn't have to go into Merida for anything. There are tons and tons of restaurants. All of them will deliver, or you can catch a bike taxi. Let's look if we find any here. I didn't see any when I was riding around, but maybe they have bike taxis out here too. So if you want to go out to shop, you can catch a bike taxi out there. Or if not, you can have your own bike. You run out to the main street to get food or a pharmacy. There are tons of, I saw like auto shops, places where you can get your car fixed or washed, tire stores, everything there out there. So this is Las Americas too. You can see the size of the homes. We are still on kind of like the main street, so a lot of them still have commercial activity outside of the house themselves, but this is what the homes looks like. I will take you inside as well so you can see. But there's an OXXO coming up, so you're never too far, and as I said, most of them deliver, so you don't have to go into Merida. You can stay right here and do anything you want to do, and then you go into Merida only for like special occasions or meetups or stuff. I don't think living way out here is for me at all. Me kind of, from I've lived in Jamaica anyway, I've always lived right in the center of everything, and I'm spoiled that way. I'm never more than 10 minutes away from anything, anywhere that I want to be. And that's the same here for me in Merida where I live now, and so the little time that we spent outside of the peripheral was not for me. Did you see the balcony on that one? I love when people fix up them place and make it look nice, So you can see the size of the properties here now that you're kind of seeing them from the side. You see how far back they go? That looks like at least 2 bedrooms upstairs and 2 bathrooms. See me, I guess the people them have in them house. They probably got another two downstairs, maybe just one, and the living dining. I don't know. I have never been inside of one of them, but I know say at least two bedroom that upstairs. Here's one for rent if you want. I'm gonna turn corner here so you can pause and zoom in. I don't know. Oh, you can see that number a while ago. Right, so them a bill on for, you know, take more advantage of the space and make garage or maybe more room. I don't know. But anyway, I can see the pull of Las Americas if maybe you're retired and you want to live in a space where everybody knows your name. You go to the same shops all the time. You have like a one bar or one restaurant out front that you like to visit and that kind of thing. It's a slower lifestyle, but for me, I prefer to live just a little bit closer to Merida so I can turn up when I want to turn up. You know what I mean? If you've made it all the way out here, I'm so grateful that you stuck around and you came on this ride with me through Merida and some of the neighborhoods on the outskirts. Please tell me if you like this video and if you want to see more of it or what other type of Merida content that you would love to see down in the comments below. Please make sure you hit like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. This has been Mo, the Traveling Jamaican. Ciao for now.